Hi, I'm Kendra with Where's Moon Astrology, and today I'm talking about Taurus and Pisces compatibility. So, Taurus is fixed earth and Pisces is mutable water. So, right away we have two yin signs, but they have different modalities and different elements. So, these are going to be sextile signs. I honestly really love the sextile relationship, and that's because I feel that these two signs are different enough from each other that they can really induce growth, and that's actually what the sextile aspect is all about. It's about potential and growth, but they're not so different that they can't understand each other on some level. Now, being that these are both yin signs, they're going to have some understanding in the fact that they're both kind of introverted creatures. They're a little more introverted than their yang sign counterparts. Like, we automatically have two signs who have this kind of base level understanding, being that they're both yin signs. But then they do have, things that are slightly different from one another. They are different elements and different modalities. So this can actually induce a lot of growth, but it's not going to be quite as easy and effortless as the trine, which is when two signs are in the same element and the same polarity. So, Taurus and Pisces. This can actually be a very nice dynamic, obviously, since they're sextile signs. The sextile is an easy aspect. So with Taurus and Pisces, again, there's this natural camaraderie, being that they're both yin signs. They can both kind of express themselves emotionally. They're both going to be a little bit more introverted, so they might be a little more happy to stay at home. They might be a little bit more happy to spend time with each other out of the public eye, not always socializing, spending time together at home, just doing those introverty things that I do not understand as an Aries sun with a Sagittarius moon. But Taurus and Pisces will enjoy that kind of thing together. They're going to enjoy just spending time with each other one-on-one at home and kind of connecting on an emotional level. Taurus is an extremely emotional sign. Taurus is earth, and earth is very sensible. So they're not going to be super, super emotional, but being that they are sensible, they can kind of have this sensible way of interpreting emotions. So they're not going to be super offended by Pisces expression of emotion, like maybe a fire sign or an air sign might. Not that fire or air would be offended per se, but they wouldn't have that same understanding. Taurus being very grounded, Taurus being very sensible is going to have kind of this, again, the sensible way of interpreting Pisces emotions and kind of holding space for them. Pisces is a very emotional sign. This is mutable water. So water is automatically emotional, and then mutable is kind of like ever flowing, ever changing. And Pisces can be a little bit of an emotional roller coaster. Anything in Pisces can be a little bit up and down and wavy and nebulous. And a lot of people who have heavy Pisces can feel kind of lost, perpetually lost. And that's where Taurus and Pisces are very good for each other, because Taurus is a very grounded sign, very sensible, very connected to the earthly realm, while Pisces is very connected to the ethereal, to the beyond, to all that is. It's a more spiritual sign. And when it's not connected to that in like a higher vibration, Pisces can feel very lost. And for Pisces, they can be a good person and still not be connected in that way, because I feel that Pisces, more than other signs, have a very hard time expressing the higher vibration of their sign. And that does exist. There are higher vibration Pisces, but because Pisces can feel so lost, they can be a genuinely good person and still just feel kind of perpetually lost like that, kind of that lower vibration. And that's not a judgment. It's just very hard for Pisces to really access that higher vibration of their sign, from what I've noticed. Again, this is how Taurus and Pisces can be very good for each other. Taurus is so grounded. Pisces by themselves can feel kind of tossed in the waves of their emotions. Being that it's changeable, being that they do feel that sense of being lost, they can feel just kind of tossed in the waves of their emotions. And Taurus can act as a secure and safe place for Pisces, kind of the stable thing that they can come home to, feeling that they found a stable place to invest themselves in Taurus. that they can really rely on this person and that this person will give them kind of, a secure base. They can, throw their emotions at Taurus or, just tell Taurus their emotions. They can give Taurus their emotions, and Taurus being that rock solid, super connected to that earthly realm influence, very calm, very stable, they can take Pisces emotions in stride. Whereas I, an Aries, have a very hard time dealing with Pisces emotions because, Aries is that warrior energy. So seeing that kind of up and down stuff with Pisces, I'm just like, what are you doing? Taurus is just so much more grounded, and they can really absorb Pisces emotions and be that stable influence for them. So Taurus can give Pisces that stability, and Taurus can love very deeply without being super, super emotionally expressive. Taurus is, again, sensible, not super emotional. So Taurus can come off a little bit dry in comparison to Pisces, but again, Taurus loves very deeply, and when they do love, they are very committed, and they are that stable influence for their partner. So, Taurus may seem a little bit disconnected in comparison to Pisces, because Pisces is very romantic, very emotionally expressive a lot of the time. So they can seem a little bit dry, but Taurus is going to be that stable influence in the relationship. They're going to have the energy that would allow, this dynamic to go the distance. So Taurus is going to be that stable energy, and Pisces is going to bring that romantic energy. Taurus being that grounded influence, they can really enjoy feeling kind of admired and adored by Pisces. They can feel just really validated by Pisces, expression of love and romance. And Pisces romance can be really over the top. And that's so different from Taurus, but Taurus can really appreciate that romance and really just eat it up when Pisces is expressing that way. So this is going to be a really beautiful little dynamic when it works. Taurus giving Pisces that stability, giving them that stable place to come back to, helping them stay grounded, not feeling so constantly lost in their emotions. And, Pisces can give Taurus those feelings of romance. They can really affect Taurus on a deep emotional level because Pisces can be so emotionally vulnerable and romantic with Taurus that, it opens something up in the Taurus heart. The earthy little Taurus heart. Where this can go wrong is the same way that it can go right. Taurus is that grounded energy, right? Pisces is this nebulous, flowing energy, elusive energy. So when we have one person who's really stable and one person who's really at times disconnected, when can be kind of nebulous like that, again, unless there's other things going on in their respective charts, the problem can be that Taurus is very invested. Taurus is really committed to that relationship, even if they are less expressive than Pisces. While Pisces is still that elusive energy, and it can be very hard to kind of keep Pisces in one place. So when Pisces does get lost in their emotions, if, eventually somehow Taurus is not able to ground them enough, Pisces can be suddenly disconnected, suddenly very elusive, and that is super hard for Taurus. It's kind of similar to the dynamic with Taurus and Aquarius. Aquarius is going to be a little bit more, shocking, suddenly rocking the boat. Pisces is just going to kind of fade out. And that's so hard for Taurus. Taurus is so committed, and Taurus loves so deeply that, seeing that romance and that really over the top emotional and romantic expression from Pisces suddenly fade into nothing, that can be very difficult for Taurus. And that's not going to be every single time, but Pisces has that ghosting tendency. They can, again, this is mutable water, so it's changeable. They can be very emotionally expressive, very romantic, all encompassing with their partner, just obsessive. And then it's changeable, so it changes. They suddenly need space. They suddenly need to be alone. Suddenly they feel lost again, and then they're gone. They're fading out. as far as, Pisces issues with Taurus, it can be hard for Pisces to feel that they feel they can't offer an explanation because Pisces is kind of that nebulous, disconnected energy. They don't even always know why they do what they do. Neptune is the modern ruler of Pisces. It rules confusion, delusion, elusiveness, as well as spirituality and some of the better, the higher vibration of Neptune. But again, that's really difficult for Pisces to access. Since they don't always know why they're doing what they're doing, and Taurus is so grounded, Taurus is going to want an explanation. Why are you doing this? We were good. We were connected. We had a good thing going. What are you doing? And Taurus is patient, so they can offer Pisces that patience even in that situation. But again, it's really painful for Taurus, so they're going to want an explanation for why things are suddenly not what they were. And Pisces can feel very threatened almost by Taurus' need for tangible facts about the situation, for Taurus' need to, apply logic and apply logic from this earthly realm to something that is not earthly, something that is not coming from the material plane. Pisces doesn't know how to explain themselves. They don't really know why they're doing what they're doing a lot of the time. Again, Neptune rules confusion. There is a very painful part of this dynamic, just like there is with every potential relationship, in that Taurus can feel suddenly abandoned, thinking that they were investing in someone who is as stable and reliable and connected as they are, and finding that that's not the case, that Pisces still needs that time to themselves. They still need to go off into the ethereal. And that could mean that Pisces is just disconnecting emotionally, or it could mean that they are actually leaving Taurus. There have been situations with Taurus and Pisces dynamics where Pisces literally just starts ghosting Taurus out of nowhere. They had a good thing going, and suddenly that person is gone. Pisces is gone, and Taurus does not know what to make of it because they process things in a material way. They think that there should be a logical, material explanation for what is happening, and there isn't always a logical, material explanation for Pisces behavior. I don't ever want to come across like I am blaming one particular sign or accusing or playing favorites or anything, but I just do notice with Pisces that it can be very hard for them to deal with reality. If both parties can be aware of these potentials, and Pisces is willing to work with Taurus, is willing to work on emotional expression, which is very, very difficult. If Pisces is being romantic, they don't really have a hard time with that. But if they're expressing insecurities, Pisces has this inferiority complex to where they really have a hard time expressing their insecurities, and they really have a hard time expressing where they're really at emotionally because, again, they don't always know, for one. And for two, they have this inferiority complex to where they feel like they shouldn't be allowed to express their true emotions, and they start to feel like, oh, you'd be better off without me, and then suddenly they're gone. But Taurus really loves Pisces, so they would totally be willing to deal with Pisces emotions and totally be willing to continue to absorb that. But Pisces, I think the best possible way that these two signs can work together, or really the best possible way that Pisces could be in a relationship with anyone, is if they learn to love themselves and they learn to accept their emotions as valid, their boundaries as valid. They learn to express their emotions even when it's hard to do that. Because if you don't learn to do that, Pisces, you're just going to get lost in the ethereal, and you could miss out on something that is really positive in Taurus. And I'm not saying that Taurus is blameless. There's jerks that come from every sign. So I'm not going to say Taurus is blameless, but if you get yourself a good Taurus, you could really be missing out on something by failing to express yourself because you felt like you weren't good enough. Taurus will do that for you. So just remember that. Anyway, that was the end of my Taurus and Pisces compatibility video. I really hope that you enjoyed it. Let me know if there's anything you felt that I did not cover. I did also want to remind you that I offer relationship readings in my store. I'm leaving the link in the description of this video. I have 90-minute full relationship readings as well as mini relationship readings, so be sure to check that out. Again, I really hope you enjoyed this video and have a great day.